Hey up, my name is Jamie. Good morning. And we're here for a walk this morning. It's only going to be a short one today. I was going to go into some woodlands, but I've hurt my leg, so I'm just going to do a nice easy walk along the side of this lovely canal down by Salterhebble. So let's have a mooch. Sorry buddy. Alright. You alright? So yeah, like I said, good morning to you all. First off, I would just like to say a massive thank you to all the new subscribers we've had in the last week. I was lucky, one of my posts got accepted to a Facebook group called 50 Shades of Halifax. So if you're on Facebook, give them a look. There's all sorts of stuff on there, and yeah, it's really good. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope that this one entertains you somewhat. I'm glad that there isn't smell-o-vision though, because we are at Salterhebble and it does have a water treatment plant, so this is where all your poopies go. and it's yeah, it's rather rife, and so yeah, I thought we'd have a little mooch down here today, instead of going to some woodlands, something a little bit different. So yeah. And some ducks just casually swimming along. Hello. And yeah, it is quite popular with cyclists, apparently, this little bit here. I'm sure my mate Ed, he used to come cycle down here quite regularly, and so I'm just going to have to be aware of my surroundings, I suppose. Don't want to be knocking anybody into the canal now, do we? No. So as I said, I did put a post up on YouTube last week, a few days ago, whenever, and saying about the topic of this video. Now this one is going to be what it was like growing up in a tiny, tiny island, and when I say tiny, I mean super tiny, morning, off the coast of Shetland. Now the island, it was called Papa Stour. I'll find some stuff and I'll put a link in the description so you can have a look at the island itself. It probably looks completely different now to what it did when we were there as kids, me and my brother. And so yeah, we moved there. I was born in Halifax, and you always come back to your roots apparently. And yeah, I was born in Halifax. I don't know why I'm walking so fast. I can slow down a little bit, my leg is killing. And we moved to Shetland when I was very young. I think I was maybe about 7 something. My brother was maybe about 5. I can't remember for sure, and it was a long time ago. Now we wanted to go run a croft. Now I don't even know where to begin. I mean, right from the very beginning, I remember it. I do remember it like it was yesterday. Stepping off the boat, we had to get the we took the car, went in a car up to Aberdeen, caught the ferry, and at that point I don't think I'd ever been on a ferry before, and it's an overnight job from Aberdeen to Lerwick. And then when we got off there, we had to make the way all the way up the island, well, about halfway across it I think, to a place called West Burford. And then we had to catch another little tiny ferry, which is basically a fishing boat, stunk of fish and diesel. It was awful. And yeah, and then we got to Papa Stour. Look at this. I'm going to try not to get too, what's the word? See, I can't even think of the word. Distracted. I'm going to try not to get too distracted in this story by this stunning thing is Salterhebble locks. There we are, look. And yeah, so we finally got to Papa Stour, I think after about 2 or 3 days travel. Now the first thing that Mum said when we got off the boat, me and my brother Aidan, so we would just walk across that? Yeah, don't drop the camera for God's sake, that would just be disastrous. And yeah, hang on, bloop. So the first thing that my mother said to us when we got off the ferry onto Papa Stour was, don't fall in the sea, boys, for God's sake. And I think by the time she hadn't even finished that sentence, plop, my brother had fallen into the sea. I think I was shortly after him, to be fair. And so yeah, we got to Papa Stour. It's all strange, it's all new. We were in a tiny little island. I think at that time it had a population of about 21, and I think 13 of them were kids. So we got to Papa, and then we had to go find our new abode. Now the house, when we got there, the house was called the Ark. It was basically built out of pebbles and, you know, stuff that they found on the island. Probably it was ancient. I don't think they might have been running water, but I don't know if there was at that particular time when we got there. And I seem to remember having to climb through a kitchen window to get in, which didn't last long. We did have a working front door in next to no time. There was no mains electricity. There was no plumbed toilets. So you basically, you know, when you watch these folk, you know, they go to Alaska or somewhere like that and live off the grid. That's basically what it was, and it was awesome to go somewhere like that and then feel the ultimate freedom of basically being able to just play out till whenever, not have to worry about it. The only thing you had to worry about was falling in the sea or off a cliff. I've got a story about that later on too. And yeah, it was amazing. So as time went on, the house started, you know, getting made into a home. It was no longer just a shell of an old building. And at the time, and there was no internet, there was nothing like that. Makes me sound very ancient, doesn't it? And that's anything that we wanted to do with the house. We had to find books. My mum had to learn how to do stuff. And yeah, it was great. So then the animals started arriving. Started off with sheep, then we got cows, chickens, you name it, we had it. Now, it was quite tough going sometimes, especially, I'm skipping ahead a few years now because, you know, otherwise we'd be here literally all day. When it came to lambing time, we used to have to take it in shifts because obviously you can't leave the sheep unaided. If one of them needs help while they're lambing, you have to be there to help them. So we used to take it in shifts, staying up through the night. I used to watch a lot of Back to the Future and No Retreat, No Surrender. Yeah, it was quite long nights. And we used to have a lamp, like a, what do you call them, like a halogen lamp, stuck to a strainer. Now, a couple of miles off the coast, there's a place called Sandnes. Now you can just see the coast. And when we were switching the light on to go outside and have a look in the field, this light was shining directly towards the coast of Sandnes. And somebody actually rang the police asking if everything was alright on Papa Stour, because they thought somebody was sending out some sort of bat signal that they needed help because this light kept flashing on and off. And so yeah, and then we started building some outbuildings. We had one called the turkey shed. Now the turkey shed is pretty self-explanatory what it was supposed to be for. It was supposed to be for turkeys. And we had, oh god, I don't know how many chicks they were, but it looked to me like they were thousands. And anyway, when this turkey shed was built, either the ventilation wasn't done properly, or the little heaters that we had to have in there were faulty, and anyway it gassed most of the chicks, sadly, and that's a bit grim. And that, but yeah, that's the crofting side of it. I mean, it was hard work, don't get me wrong, it was hard work, but it was also very fun and very rewarding, because you got to see a lot of things that a lot of kids these days won't see, you know, like the birth of new creatures, animals. We had to grow our own food. There were no shop to speak of, you know, so I mean, if you were hungry, you either had to kill it or grow it. So there was a lot of that sort of grim side involved in it as well, which, you know, it makes you what you are. You know, you live on a farm, that's what you've got to do, isn't it? And I'm sorry that I'm pointing my camera to my mug most of the time. And that, but it is story time. So anyway, I'll spin you around so you can have a look at this lovely walk, and I'll keep on talking. And that's, so yeah, like I was saying, that is the sort of farming side of it. Now really, what I wanted to talk to you about really was the sort of personal side of it. You know, what it meant for me, what it felt like to be away from civilization for what seemed to be an age. Now, it was absolutely amazing. We owned quite a bit of land on the island, and we had our own beach. We had plenty of places to explore. Me and my brother, we were off all the time, just exploring, having a look around, building dens, you know, all the stuff that kids do. And then I decided to get a little bit adventurous one time. And there's a place down right in the middle of like a little hill on Papa Stour, and it's called Kirsten's Hole. I'll try and find a picture of it, but if not, look in the description and have a look on the thing, the link that I'll put in there for Papa Stour, and Kirsten's Hole should be on there. Well, one day, me being me, I decided to climb down it. Now bear in mind that Kirsten's Hole is probably upwards of 100 foot deep. Yeah, I was absolutely terrified. I got stuck coming halfway up, and I thought, well, that's it then. This is how it all finishes. I'm just going to have to live on the side of this hole for the rest of my life. Did I make it out? Here's the kicker. Yes, I did. So yeah, that was definitely an experience. And I remember all sorts of stuff about Papa Stour. I really do. There's too much for one video, really, because I want to keep this one kind of short today, because, like I said, I have hurt my leg somewhat. I was going to skip the video today, but I thought, nah, you don't skip. You just come somewhere where it's nice and flat and easy to walk, like this canal path down by Salterhebble. Come and have a look. It's wonderful. So I turned 13. Now at that time there was only me and my brother left in the school that was on Papa, and when you turn to 13 you've obviously got to go to high school. Now the closest high school is in Lerwick, which is like the centre, the town capital, whatever, of Shetland, and it's a long way away from Papa Stour. So when you go to high school, you have to stay there through the week and stay in the hostels. Now that is a story for another time. The hostel was amazing. I loved it. I didn't like being away from my family for so long. I missed my brother, I missed my mum, you know, and but it was what it was, you know. That's the sort of thing that you had to do because you didn't have a choice, so you had to go off. And then I think the stark realisation started setting in when my brother turned 13 and it was time for him to move up to high school as well. So we ended up leaving Papa Stour and moving to the mainland. And we moved to a little place called Sandwick, which I spent most of my time there. And then we moved to another little place just a couple of miles away called Conisborough. But you know, I could keep going on for ages about that sort of stuff, which I'm not going to do today. I'm going to keep it thingy. So I might the basic thing of what was it like growing up on a tiny island in the middle of nowhere, where you can see every single star in the night, and you can see the Northern Lights in all the glory when they're out to play. The freedom, the hard work. I mean, it wasn't all lollipops and sunshine, but it was close. So what was it like? It was excellent. There is, you know, a few downsides to being all the way up there, because we did have family down here as well. So there was some downsides to that, not being able to see them as much as what, you know, we maybe would have liked to. But we were so young, we didn't really mind. Well, it's not that we didn't mind, it's just that we didn't so much, you know, we just got on with it. It's just what you had to do. It was the way of life then. And then, yeah, so Shetland, growing up there, was amazing. And then I moved back down here in my 20s. And now, that was probably about 5 years ago, because I'm only 32. So yeah, that's enough of my mug. I will film this lovely canal walk on the way back as well. And yeah, so let's have a look down here and see what else pops up in conversation. That might be one for Dave. Ryburn and Halifax Angling Society. Annual membership and day tickets available from your local tackle shop. I think we'll have to have a look at that one, Dave, don't you? Now, speaking of Dave, I mention him on most of my videos. He's my best friend, and the link to his channel will be in the description as always. And if you don't know by now, which you should do, he does fishing videos, and we're planning on doing a collaboration. Ooh. So yeah, make sure that you subscribe to both channels. Keep your eye out for that, because it is going to be brilliant. Trust me.
Oh, do you want to go over?
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, love.
Morning.
Now you can literally walk for miles on this. Talk about walking miles. Guess what I forgot to do? I even made a mental note to myself when I got out of the car. Put your watch on walk mode. Tell you, one day, I'm actually going to put a sticker on my camera case to remind me. Oh, dear me. Now that's funny, because we were just talking about Papa Stour, and then them two little dogs come walking past, and I forgot to mention a very important part. We had a sheepdog called Laddie. Now Laddie was a border collie, which is why it's funny that them two just walked past. And yeah, what can we say about Laddie as a sheepdog? He was terrible. Apparently he was from very good stock, and his parents and all that lot was really good, well-known sheepdogs. So we got one of the pups. Now when we got him to Papa Stour, he saw the sheep, he ran inside, hid under the table, and shit himself. He was great at rounding up chickens and ducks, but as far as sheep went, that was a no bueno for that boy. Oh, he was such an awesome dog. And he came with us to the mainland, and yeah, we did end up losing him sadly, but I mean, you know, they don't last forever, do they? Another funny quip. All this is coming back to me now. I did have some sort of plan, but when I start talking, I usually go off on a tangent and the plan just goes out the window. I'd never make some sort of motivational speaker now, would I? And yeah, so when the sheep started arriving, we had to get a ram, because you know you need ram to do what they do with the lady sheep. And this ram was called Doppel because he was really big, but he was very slow because he was huge. Now when the ram arrived, again, first thing my mum said, boys, it's not a horse or a donkey, don't ride the ram. And I don't even think she'd finished that sentence, and then we see Aidan, my brother, coming past the kitchen window on the back of a ram. yeah, says it all really. Look at this viaduct. This is, I mean, these things really are just a master of engineering. They really are. I'll see if I can get another shot of that from the other side. I mean, look, yeah. The Copley Viaduct. My goodness me. I don't even know how... See, this is what happens. I was going to make a short video today for reasons that I've already gone through. And we're already nearly half an hour in. And we've still got, you know, well, as far as we want to walk, really. But I am going to turn around in a minute. And I will be coming back down here, definitely. And make it a longer video. And see, actually, where it pops out at the other side. I mean, Copley Viaduct might be a bit of a clue. Don't you think? Maybe. Right, before we turn around, we're just going to get round this corner, then we'll turn around and I'll film the entire walk of the way back, speed it up a little bit for you, and then we'll get back to the car, go home, have a brew and possibly some crumpets. Yeah, crumpets. No, yeah. Morning, love. You all right?
Yes, thanks. Good
Beautiful
boy.
dog.
Thank you.
Right. I'm going to turn back now, and I'll film the entire walk of the thing there. Because my leg is absolutely killing. And so yeah, thanks for coming for a walk with me this morning. It's another lovely autumnal morning. And yeah, I am, like I said on the video that I did in Shelf, I am planning on doing uploads more often. It's just this last couple of weeks I've had quite a bit on, so I haven't really had, well, I have had time, I've just been lazy, basically. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now, and like I say, I'll film going back this way without my ugly mug in it, so then you can see, but you can go for absolute miles all the way down there. So if you did fancy a little Sunday morning stroll or something like that, you know, this could possibly be the place for you. So, I guess I shall see you on the next one. So thanks a lot. And for now, my name is Jamie. I'm your Yorkshire Walker, and I'm out. Peace. Back again. Now, on another quick note, I know I already signed off, but on another quick one, that was a little story about Papa Stour. Now, I did at the end of it mention that we did move to the mainland, so if you'd like to hear any more stories about what it was like living on the mainland, and hear about some good times, some outstandingly bad times, then just let me know in the comments, and I might tell you a few more stories, because believe me, I've got lots of them. don't know if it's just me being crabby, but I'd have thought somewhere like this, if you've got bikes going both ways, which is fair enough, put a bell on your bike, you know, if you're coming up behind somebody, ding ding, maybe. I know, back again. Parking wise, drive towards Salterhebble, going up to the Ainley Top roundabout. If you're coming from Halifax, you'll see a Brewers Fair on your right. You can park in that car park, just tuck it away somewhere, and then cross on the other side of the pub, and you can get down to this little footpath here that leads all the way up to the main road opposite the petrol station. So yeah, just for those that don't know, you probably do, but I like to cover all bases. So I might as well sign off again now because we're nearly back to the car. So that's a nice canal walk this morning. The Hebble and Calder Navigation. We got some of the locks in back there as well, which is lovely. So yeah, we'll leave it there. For now, my name's Jamie, I'm your Yorkshire Walker, and I'm out. Peace.